At exactly 6:04 a.m., two men wake up in the same city. One grabs his phone instantly. Notifications, drama, messages from people he barely cares about. The other sits in silence. No music, no scrolling, no distractions. He opens a notebook and writes down one question. How do I own more of my time? 20 years later, one man is begging for weekends. The other owns buildings, companies, and freedom. Same country, same 24 hours. Completely different lives. So what happened? Luck? Talent? Education? No. It was something far more dangerous. The way they think. Most people never realize they're trapped.
Billionaires don't chase money. Most people wake up asking, how can I make money today? Billionaires ask, how can I build something that keeps making money without me? That single question changes everything. Because poor thinking trades time for money. Rich thinking builds ownership. A janitor works 10 hours cleaning a building. A businessman works 10 hours owning the building. One gets paid once. The other gets paid every month for years. Same effort, different mindset. Poor people focus on surviving this month. Rich people focus on controlling the next decade. Most people are trained to work for systems, while billionaires learn to own systems. Some jobs pay your bills. Very few build freedom. If you stopped working today, would your income stop too? But money isn't the biggest advantage billionaires have. Their real power is how they think about time.
2. They think long term. Most people destroy tomorrow for temporary comfort today. Billionaires sacrifice comfort now for freedom later. That's why average people chase appearances and wealthy people chase assets. Two friends receive their first big paycheck. One buys designer clothes, expensive dinners, luxury photos for Instagram. The other quietly buys stocks and learns business. For years, the first looked successful. Then something happened nobody expected. 10 years later, one still needed attention. The other owned investments paying him while he slept. Most people would rather look rich for one weekend than be rich for 30 years. Comfort feels harmless until you realize it quietly stole your future. You don't become poor overnight. You become poor through repeated small decisions. What habits are quietly shaping your future right now? And the next billionaire mindset is strange because it turns frustration into millions.
3. Billionaires are obsessed with problems. Average people complain about problems. Billionaires search for them. Why? Because every painful problem hides opportunity. Traffic? Someone built ride-sharing apps. Loneliness? Someone built social media. Confusion? Someone built AI tools. The biggest companies in history were built solving emotional pain. A teenager stood in the rain for 45 minutes waiting for a taxi. Angry, cold, frustrated. Most people would forget that moment. He didn't. Years later, that frustration inspired a transportation app idea worth millions. Sometimes the thing annoying you every day could be the thing that changes your life forever. Billionaires don't run away from problems. They monetize them. Most people experience opportunities, then ignore them because they look inconvenient. What problem do you complain about constantly? But there's another trap destroying millions of intelligent people right now.
4. They protect their focus like gold. Your attention is under attack every second. Notifications, scrolling, drama, short dopamine hits. And most people don't even notice it happening. The internet made millions entertained and distracted at the same time. One man spends 5 hours every day consuming random content, celebrity gossip, arguments, mindless scrolling. Another spends 5 hours learning skills. 3 years later, one knows everything about strangers online. The other changed his family's future. Every distraction steals a future version of you. The scariest thing isn't failure, it's wasting years without realizing it. Most people say they want success, but their habits prove they want comfort. What's consuming most of your attention right now? And now comes the billionaire trait most people emotionally cannot handle. 5. They control emotions. Most people make emotional decisions. Billionaires make calculated decisions. When others panic, they stay calm. When others quit, they keep building quietly. During a market crash, millions sold everything in fear. One quiet investor kept buying. People called him crazy. Years later, that fear created someone else's fortune. Fear makes people abandon opportunities too early. Your emotions can either build your future or destroy it silently. Weak emotions create expensive decisions. Most people don't fail because they're unintelligent. They fail because they panic. How many decisions in your life were emotional instead of logical? But the next billionaire habit is uncomfortable because it removes all excuses. 6. They take responsibility. Average mindset? It's their fault. Billionaire mindset? How do I adapt? That's where power begins. Two friends lose their jobs during an economic crisis. One spends years blaming the economy. The other immediately learns a new skill. 5 years later, one is still angry. The other built freedom. The moment you stop blaming, your life starts changing. Excuses feel safe today, but dangerous tomorrow. Nobody is coming to rescue your future. What excuse has been secretly slowing your life down? But the next mindset separates people who look rich from people who actually become wealthy. 7. They value time over status. Most people buy things to impress strangers. Billionaires buy freedom. Luxury to average people is appearance. Luxury to billionaires is control over time. A millionaire drove an old car for years. Neighbors laughed at him. They thought he was broke. Later they discovered he owned half the buildings around them. Some people look rich online and struggle silently offline. The truly wealthy often move quietly. Many people sacrifice their future to impress people who don't even care about them. Are your purchases building freedom or just attention? And now comes the mindset that turns dreamers into builders. 8. They execute fast. Most people wait too long. Billionaires move quickly, not perfectly, but quickly, because action creates clarity. One person spends 2 years planning a business. Another starts messy, fails, learns, improves. Guess who succeeds? Perfect timing destroys more dreams than failure. Your biggest opportunity may disappear while you keep overthinking. You cannot improve a life you never begin. What dream have you delayed for too long? But none of these mindsets matter without the final one. 9. They build networks, not just money. Opportunities often come through people. One conversation can change your future forever. A struggling entrepreneur almost skipped a small networking event. He felt nervous, unimportant, out of place, but he went anyway. That single conversation later opened doors worth millions. Sometimes your future is hidden inside a room you're afraid to enter. Many successful people were one relationship away from changing everything. Isolation quietly kills opportunity. What opportunities are you avoiding because of fear? And finally, the mindset that changes everything. 10. They believe differently. Before success becomes reality, it exists as belief. Most people destroy their dreams before trying. Billionaires think, why not me? Not arrogance, possibility. A kid from a tiny apartment once told people he'd become successful. Everyone laughed. Years later, those same people asked him for advice. Never let average thinking decide your future. The world slowly trains people to play small. Many dreams die quietly, inside people who were too afraid to begin. If fear disappeared today, what would you build? One day, you'll wake up older, and you'll either say, I'm glad I tried, or I wish I started earlier. That's the real difference. Billionaires are not magical people. They simply trained their thinking differently for years. And maybe the life you want isn't as far away as you think.
Maybe the biggest problem was never money. Maybe it was perspective. The moment your thinking changes, your future starts changing too. If this video changed the way you think, comment below. I will think bigger. Share this video with someone who needs this. Subscribe now for more psychological success documentaries. And remember, your future is watching your decisions today.